Okay, the first thing that we need to do is we need to check our marks on the bottom pulley and our top pulley. The top pulley will be this arrow right here lined up with the arrow here, and the bottom pulley, you'll have this mark right here lined up with that mark right there, and if you just follow this channel right down, you'll see that gets lined up. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is you're going to need to relieve the tension of this spring on the tensioner, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide a tire iron down in between the tensioner and that stud right there, and I'm going to pull this out, get it over about as far as I can, and then I'll tighten this bolt down right here, and that's going to hold the tensioner out and away and give me plenty of room that I need in order to slip that belt on. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is just fit the belt over the bottom pulley onto the oil pump and then around the cam sprocket, and make sure that all of the tension is pulled over here onto the tensioner side. Okay. You know, sometimes this bottom one will want to spin a little bit when you're doing that, so before you tighten everything down, you're going to just double check that, make sure that it's right, make sure that your belt is nice and tight around this side, and that all of the slack that you've got is over here on this side where the tensioner is. Okay, then once the belt's on, you're going to want to just loosen this bolt right here, and you'll see it pull the tension out of the belt as that bolt comes loose and the tensioner pulls over. Okay, just get it loose enough so that you can know that this is moving freely. It's tight, and then tighten this back down. Okay, now sometimes when you're getting this aligned and you drop the tension and you get everything set, your bottom pulley is lined up the way it's supposed to be, sometimes you'll notice that this is off just a hair and you're kind of like in between. When that happens, you're going to want the mark to be to the right of this mark as shown. Sometimes heads are milled or belts get stretched, and the natural position of this will be to the right. You don't ever want to have this mark to the left. If you're having questions and you're in the middle like this, make sure that your mark is to the right. Okay, once the belt's on, you can install your bolt right here, and then what I like to do is turn the motor over a couple of times just to get the belt straight. Okay, so I've spun this thing over about 3 times just to make sure that the belt has, you know, walked back and forth and is straight. I'm going to want to turn it back just to make sure that I'm returning all of the tension out of the belt to this side, and then I'm going to return to this tensioner. I'm going to loosen this one more time just to make sure that this belt tensioner can pull any tension out, and then I will retighten it and now your belt is properly tightened. This should be adjusted probably every 15,000 miles, and it's very easy to do. With your timing cover on here, there's an access plug right here, and then this stud will be poking through this hole right here. So what you really need to do to adjust this is you just loosen this nut right here, which backs the tension off of this pivot point for the tensioner. Pull this plug out. You'll either need an extension or a deep well socket, and you'll reach in here, and all you do is you'll loosen that bolt one more time and then tighten it back up. A lot of times, like I said, it's good to loosen that bolt and then just turn the motor slightly reverse just to pull any tension around to here and then tighten back up. If you do that every 15,000 miles, you'll avoid getting a bunch of slack in your timing belt.